like to take a chance to toast to the people that have been to the Edgefield past, present, future, and all their lives have intertwined here at some point. So again, here's to the Edgefield for 100 years and 100 years more. Cheers! Cheers. And I'm going to do Sharon Nesbitt. She is with the Troutdale Historical Society. Very, very instrumental in saving this property from being deconstructed twice. Sharon?
This is just such a great day. We always thought that it would come down. You know, we fought 4.5 years, Troutdale Historical Society, to keep this building from coming down. We gave up the fight about 6 times secretly, but it worked. You know, it worked. In the end, 2 crazy guys came by and bought it, and it worked. And so I'll repeat the same toast that we did on the night it opened. You gotta wonder what the poor people are doing.
And this is Tim Hills. He's our company historian. He has a few words to say also.
Yeah, I wanted to say it's kind of a great thing, first of all, to have the opportunity to be doing what McMenamins is doing here, and it wouldn't have happened without Sharon and the Troutdale Historical Society, which was this tiny but mighty force back in the 80s and 90s. And so what that's allowed us to do is, in a sense, continue what the original mission of this place was, and that's to bring people of all different walks of life to this one place as a refuge. And we're having a lot of fun with it, and thanks for joining in.
Thank you. Refuges.
And of course, words can't really fully thank the community for their support, for our patrons, for our staff, and of course to Mike and Brian McMenamin and the entire family. So once again, we hope you guys have a great time today. There's plenty of festivities. Please check everything out today, and we have a huge concert tonight for you all to enjoy too again. So again, thank you guys very much for coming. Have a great day today. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Come back for the next 100th.
Yes.
Harry Davis, the poor man, all he did was sell him liquor. Oh, that is really fun. What do you want to set up, Tim?
My name is Conrad Santos, and I was the first brewer of the McMenamins. And we designed this brewery here at Edgefield to be our largest brewery of 20 barrels. We had 9 other breweries of 3.5 barrels apiece, and they were all located at pubs. So this one was going to be our largest brewery. And it took about 3 months to design and construct the brewery. And then we started brewing. We started brewing about March of 1991. And it became very successful, and we were able to keep up with the demand for our product, which at the time had become very popular. And we developed many special ales here at Edgefield. And it was a pleasure to be able to make 20 barrel batches so that we knew that everyone would hopefully be able to purchase what they wanted to drink instead of the pubs having to tell everyone that we were out of that certain thing. So that was really an honor. And then to see the power station open with the small rooms up above, and then eventually the first 2 floors of Edgefield opening, then the 3rd floor, and now the celebration of 100 years of Edgefield being in existence. It's quite an honor to be here and to be celebrating this with everyone.
My name is Michael Dillard, and I am a resident in Gresham all my life. My wife is currently the manager at the power station. And my stepdaughter, she works in the gift shop. In the early 1970s, my sister Sandra worked here when it was still the Poor Farm, and she was the, hang on, are you gonna edit this? She was the nutritionist for the kitchens at the Poor Farm in whatever stage it was at in the 70s. And in the late 40s, my uncle was the butcher here. And where Jerry's Ice House currently is where he would hang the beef. So, okay, that's all I got.
My name is George Klinger.
Okay. And what connection do you have with Edgefield?
Pardon?
What connection do you have with Edgefield?
Well, I was probably one of the last people to farm this property.
Oh, wow.
I cut all the hay off it and cleaned up the fence lines and had hay stored in the barn right there by the big silo. Wouldn't have closed all the buildings down when McMillan's bought the place.
How long did you work here?
Oh, probably off and on. As a kid, probably about 8 years. My folks both worked here too. My mother was a nurse, my father was a watchman and a janitor. And they both worked here 25 years for the county. After I worked here, I started working in a service station and to learn the automotive trade.
Oh, wow.
And from there I become a school teacher. But in the meanwhile, I run an outfit called Custom Farming, and we farmed all kinds of property all over this end of the county, east end of the county. It was just a shame that they done away with such a place.
Were you born before your mom and dad worked here?
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
I moved here from Washington.
Do you have any close friends that used to work here too? Did you make any good
Well, most
friends?
of them are all gone now.
Oh, yeah.
Where'd they go?
They're passed away. Larry Stouffer.
Oh, yeah, Larry Stiffer. Yeah, I'm familiar with
A
him.
good friend of mine.
Yeah. And do you know Daryl Stouffer?
Yes, I did.
Oh, cool. And Dell, did you ever work with Dell Stouffer?
Odell was our boss.
Wow.
He was a farm boss. He was the boss over all the whole place.
Cool.
And then he was the head boss, and then they had the bosses over the little jobs. And I worked for one guy, I don't remember his last name. His name was George something. He was a German fellow. And he overseed all kinds of stuff. When there was a great big barn right over there, and we used to put about 500 ton of hay in that every year.
Oh, wow.
And he was the guy that seen to it the hay was put in there right.
Oh,
And
yeah.
also that silo right there, I walked many hours propping silage down
Yeah.
because it had to be packed for the cattle so it would ferment.
Oh, that's cool. So you get in there and stomp on it, jump on it?
Just walk around circles.
Oh, okay.
There was a big tube come up and blow green corn in, and it'd get all over you, and it was sticky. And it'd get hot in there. Oh, I mean, atrocious hot.
Wow.
And stink. But that was one of the jobs that you did.
Wow.
You know, you did it for a couple dollars an hour,
Yeah.
but it was a job.
Yeah. And was Dell a nice boss to work for?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Well, we really never had too much to do with him.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, there was bosses that was underneath him.
Oh, right.
All kinds of, like the the milking boss and the calf boss that took care of the calves and all that kind of stuff.
All right. Which did you stay in one area? I mean, did you stay in one area of work?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If you work like in a hay barn, you worked in the hay barn, you didn't work somewhere else.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes maybe if they needed somebody, you might go somewhere else, but most of the time you had a certain job, that was your job. Because there were certain guys that done milk, that worked in the milking barns. They never worked up in the hay barn.
And where did you have lunch?
Just wherever you was working, you'd stop and have lunch. Sometimes you go down behind the kitchen, and there was a bakery in the basement, but and you could get a cookie there once in a while.
Is there a cafeteria that made lunches for?
No, you didn't have lunch here. You brought your own lunch.
Oh, yeah.
Because see, there was a difference between us guys. We was paid employees, and then there was employees that was from jail
Yeah.
that come here to work. And out the front door there used to be of the home there used to be a great big round fish aquarium and planter, and there used ever so often just down past that was a stairway went out to the ground crop field. It was a ground where the grapes are planted now out front. They used to raise carrots and ground crops in there, and the prisoners took care of all that stuff. And the Multnomah County cops sat on the steps there with a shotgun across their lap to guard the prisoners that was working. And you didn't talk to the prisoners. That was a no-no.
Oh, wow.
In fact, I don't think any of the guys was in our crew ever running equipment to speak of. Once in a while you might have to follow a horse cultivating or something down on the cornfield across the road. But you was more or less just a farmhand was all you was. And I think it was mainly because our parents, all of us guys, a lot of us guys that worked on the farm here, our parents were employees here.
Do you remember what year you started working here?
Must have been about 1954, 55. I was in high school yet.
So which school did you teach at when you became a school
I
teacher?
taught at Mount Hill Community College and at Clackamas Community College and at Clark College in Vancouver.
Oh, wow. Nice. Which subject?
I'm a body and fender instructor.
What was your favorite job to do here? Favorite task?
It was work. There was no favorite job. Anytime you get in an old hay barn when it's 120 degrees out, that's not. There's no favor about it. You know, they was at a historical meeting one time, and somebody asked Mike McMahon when he was going to open the place, and he said he didn't have enough shingles to finish the building. And so after the meeting, I said to you, how many do you need? And he says, oh, he told me about how many squares of shingles he needs, some slight shingles. And I said, Ray, if you want them, you can come down to my house, I'll give them to you. When we moved out of the barn here, there was a big stack of them next to the wall, and I loaded them on my hay truck and hauled them home because I thought I might need them for my pump house. So I gave him the shingles to put on the roof so that they could get the place open.
Yeah, wow.
Wow. That is awesome.
That's a nice story. They deserve to have him back.
Yeah. He needs royalties.
Right?
Man, 10%.
No, I think if I ever wanted anything, I'd just ask Mike. I could probably.
What do you think of the McMinimans, what they've done with the place? Do you like it?
Great.
I think it's great too. I thought it should be torn down.
Oh, really?
I was one of those people that thought it should be torn down. It was so dilapidated. stayed, because I'd been here before. I've been here for years, so I'm glad to see what they did. They did a really good job. It's fun to look at all the stuff that they've done.
Do you like the beer that they make?
Well, their beer's okay, yeah.
Yes, I'm Shirley Coursey, and I grew up in Wood Village. And I was one of the poor kids that grew up in Wood Village, and the other kids couldn't play with us, so we would come down to the nursing home down here and play with the old folks, because they would always play with us. We played pool with them, and Mr. Duncan, he would go to the church, the Baptist church by our house up on Arata Road, and got to know him, and he bought all 12 of us kids Bibles. We come from a big family. And Lucky, he was really great. He we called it Cherry Park Hill then when it was first, I don't know what they call it now, but it's by Tree Hill in Arata Road, and he'd come down on his wheelchair flying down that hill and make a turn on Arata Road to come to our house to visit us.
Cool.
And we'd say, run in the house, because I was only like 9 then, Mom, here comes Lucky, here comes Lucky. And so he'd come in our house, we'd put out the ramp for him to come into the living room, our little house there with, 2-bedroom house there on Arata Road. And he'd stay for a couple hours, he'd come every week, and we'd always ask him for a ride in his wheelchair. He'd give all of us kids a ride. And then that night he'd go back to the county farm, and then we'd even come down here, and we had played baseball with all the old people when they first built the diamond over there. I don't know where it is from here, but it's down by where the park is now.
Okay.
And we'd put plastic lids down for bases, and then old people, they'd hit the ball and run. I remember it was so much fun playing with them.
Cool.
It's just, I'm glad they saved this old building. I have lots of memories here.
Oh, great. Good.
Makes me want to cry.
Oh, that's-
I watched the movie,
Yeah?
Lucky in it.
Uh,
He was so sweet. It was great,
that's
The old people cared. I still live around here.
okay.
Yeah. And I was so happy that they saved this place.
That's cool.
We used to ride the school bus up here and everything, pick up the kids, that lived, the director or whoever he was, his kids, picked them up. And I used to think, man, I wish I could live there.
That's great.
Dumb memories, huh?
That's awesome.
My name is Mary Bryson. When I worked here in the kitchen, it was the county nursing home, and it was probably in the early 60s, I'm thinking. I was probably out of high school. I was Mary McGinnis at that time, and I worked here for 2 summers, earning money to go to college. And one of the more memorable things that I remember is I was a dishwasher, so we had the dishes come in and we dumped the dishes into big trays and the silverware out of big 5-gallon buckets. We dumped them into a tray. One day when I was doing the dishes, I tipped the silverware bucket over and there was a pair of false teeth from one of the inmates in the infirmary, I'm quite sure. Anyway, that's probably the most interesting thing that came through. The other thing that I remember is that it was a split shift, so I had to come early in the morning. I got to go home in the afternoon and then come back in the evening for the dinner meals.
Oh, wow.
And that's, it was a job.
Yeah.
It was a way of earning some extra money for college,
Oh, great.
and it was valuable to me at that
Yeah.
time.
Okay, I'm Greg Handy. Grew up in Troutdale, and just a brief story. There used to be a trash dump on the north side of Halsey Street, and so during the summertime, my friend Larry Stouffer, whose dad used to run the livestock and so forth up here. Larry and I would go down and we'd take our BB guns down and we'd shoot the rats and so forth at the trash dump. And there used to be a barn, the large barn here on the next to Blackberry Hall, and we'd play basketball. And if it was raining, then we'd go down and play pool down in the pool hall. And Lucky Staley used to come by we used to live in Troutdale, in downtown Troutdale, where the Plaid Pantry is now.
Oh, yeah.
And Lucky would roll his wheelchair downtown and wave his white hat. Head to downtown. You'd find Lucky in downtown Troutdale or down at the airport, or sometimes he'd end up in Gresham. So he got around. But Larry was a lot of fun. He's no longer with us, but Larry was a real kick in the pants.
Cool. Was he the farm supervisor after his dad? Or?
No. After Dell, they closed closed it down.
Oh, okay.
I think Dell was the last one.
You played pool with Lucky?
No, not with Lucky, but we would sneak down in the pool hall once in a while.
Oh, cool.
A few times, not a lot. Played in the barn, basketball a few times.
Nice.
You know. And this was, it's such a big facility.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of places to run around and
cool.
play when you were a kid.
Cool.
Shoot at the pigeons in the barn.
I'm retired Sheriff Bob Skipper, and when I first started running with my wife in 1958, Ilona Stouffer, her brother was farm manager at the county farm, and they were hauling prisoners out here with a paddy wagon on a daily basis. I went to work at the sheriff's office in 1960 as a deputy, and they were still hauling them out on a paddy wagon. Sometime later, maybe 3 or 4 years later, they built the county jail here, and they built the county jail, and then they were able to have labor right on site. They built this building as a machine shop, so the prisoners would get a chance to learn to work on tractors, mechanical, painting, so forth, and do the farm work in the field. Her brother was the last farm manager here, and her nephews all grew up here. Her nephew, Daryl Stouffer, came back to work at the jail here as a deputy.
All right.
And and I went on to become sheriff, like I say, and manage this jail as well as 4 other jails. So quite a little history here. Our granddaughter was married here 3 years ago in White Rabbit, and in the meadow, and we had a reception here. So we've got a lot of roots that connect us back to this place. The nephews learned to play pool in the basement and got quite good at it.
My name is Sharon Cole, and when I was first introduced here, it was about 1959. I went to high school at Reynolds, and my friend's mother worked here, and she brought a bunch of us over here to show us the old men that had syphilis, so we would never smoke, drink, or have unprotected sex. And it worked. We were scared to death. It was quite an illuminating sight over here at that time.
And for the young kids out there, can you tell what syphilis does to the body?
Well, I don't know what it does to the body, but these little old guys were walking around. They couldn't see. They had dementia. It was awful.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it made a point that we weren't going to go out. Of course, at that time we didn't do that kind of stuff.
Right. Good old days.
So. But this is a wonderful thing that McMenamins have done out here.
I'm Ilona Stouffer Skipper. My brother, Dale Stouffer, was the last farm manager here at Edgefield. And when he started working here, he lived up on the hill, which is up behind the Black Rabbit. And he had 3 sons. The oldest Dale, and then Daryl and Larry, and since then his oldest son Dale and his youngest son Larry have passed away, and he has his remaining son Daryl, who grew up here, played pool all the boys play pool with the people here, and Daryl currently works for Multnomah County Sheriff's Office in corrections, and when they had the jail here, he worked here also. Our son-in-law is a corrections sergeant, and he also worked here. He's Brent Jordan. Pictures of my brother and his family, and even our daughter Teresa, and just a headshot of our son Ted are found hanging in the spa. And in that building, later when my brother moved from the house, two-story house up on the hill, him and his family moved down to the duplex, and he lived in the north side of the duplex. And now where the pool area is, they had their backyard with a concrete patio and a large outside fireplace. And my sister-in-law Maxine hung her clothes on the clothesline outside where the pool is now. At one time, when I was visiting with my brother and his family, my husband, Bob Skipper, who was the retired Multnomah County Sheriff, had come over to visit, and he had bought a 1958 Chevy, which we still own, and he backed out into the tree that was on the other side of the roadway coming into the campus, and put the first dent in the back fender. My brother was a farmer from day one. He loved farming, and he knew had a lot of knowledge of the farming. He developed the hog farm, which is across the street, north side of Halsey. He raised all the vegetables and the food from the dairy cattle, and fed all the facilities, the jails and the hospital, and the people here at Edgefield. Our daughter, our granddaughter, Corinne Jordan Cannell, was married here in 2008 up in the Meadow, and her reception was here at Buckley.
Wow, that's terrific. Yeah.
I was trying to think it was something else.
So, Del was your brother? Wow.
And our family consisted of my brother being the oldest, and then my sister, and then Ida, and then myself.
I've heard that Del had hay fever, right? Is that
He
correct?
did.
Yes.
He did.
But he worked anyway.
Yeah, he did. It was very bad. I'd never seen anybody that his eyes would almost turn inside out, which is a terrible expression. But he loved horses. He hunted with his horse, and he just had a lot of, I guess I want to say, cowboy knowledge, and he really enjoyed working here, and was able to put people to good use. He had the inmate labor and gardening.
Did he have hay fever all year round, or just part?
It was just seasonal.
Oh, okay.
It was just seasonal.
That's good, because gosh, that'd be hard to have.
In fact, in his when he was working here, I remember him laying on the recliner in the duplex, and he had adult mumps.
Wow.
Our middle nephew, Daryl, had pigeons. He raised many pigeons here, and they were homing pigeons, and my sister-in-law had told about him. They were on their way, I believe, to the beach or someplace down the valley, and he took them and let them go, thinking that he would finally maybe get rid of them or downsize the ones that he had. And some of them did come back, and she also said that he would sell them to friends, and they would take them, and they would come back, flying back here because they were homing pigeons.
That's funny. That's great.
That's all.
Where were the
facility?
Where were the homing pigeons raised?
He had them down I believe, down by the barn.
Okay.
I can't think of too much. I remember relatives coming out and visiting out here, and we'd sit out at the patio deals. He loved to fish, and he'd go fishing, and then barbecue salmon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the potatoes, the pictures that they show of the men in their suits and their hats holding those potatoes, he farmed the hill up at Chernobyl, which is where Safeway is now, up on the hill at Chernobyl Park. He farmed all that potatoes, and they were huge.
Wow. Cool. Gigantic potatoes.
He was a member of the church there in Fairview. And,
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
He was a member of the Smith Memorial Church in Fairview, and that's where we attend, and we were married. And 50 years ago, we just had our 50th wedding anniversary, and 50 years ago, after our wedding rehearsal, the whole wedding party came back to his home here in the duplex and had our party after the rehearsal. He was also married 50 years and passed away about 3 months after his 50th. I was in the first graduating class at Reynolds High School.
Oh, right, yeah.
And the girl, I think that Sharon that you just interviewed, she was, she was about 3 years, I think, behind me in school. And a lot of classmates worked, one of their first jobs was here, and a lot of their parents worked here because it was a good paying job.
Oh, yeah.
And they got to know the people, and they really liked it.
Good.
Well, good luck.
Thank you very much.